Selam Işık.
Merhaba.
Bugün biraz az katılıyorsun. Gözümden
Yok,
kaçma.
geç kalktım da o yüzden.
Ha, bir de bana sor.
Bir gün daha adrenalin hemen kayıyor planlar.
Zorlaşacak ya. Zaten önümüzdeki aylarda siz uyuyacaksınız ve ders çalışacaksınız yani. Sosyal hayatınızı 2 ay yok sayın. Yani bizde öyleydi en azından. Son 2 ay bildiğin yoktu hayatımızda. Neyse. Everyone's here, so let's go back to my screen. Yeah, it took me around 2.5 week producement time and development time, and we had some meetings that was between my developments, that cut my developments, interfered with my developments. So because of that, actually it took more than 3 weeks, and there's some holidays, etc., coming into play. So you need to also take those things into considerations. But the problem is not the time itself. The problem is this is not the end feature that we want in our game. At the end, we will need to have a game that's like we need to have a screen that is like the Clash Royale page, Clash Royale deck building page. Have you seen this one? So we need something like this. But this design was not told me until I already started.
Can you share your screen?
I'm not right. Let me. So in this screen, you're basically. Sorry, this is a better example. So in this screen, a similar concept is here. Like battle deck is. Sorry. I guess. Okay. She muted himself. Yeah, like I said, battle deck is on top, but you are not dragging and dropping the cards. You are basically clicking on the cards, then clicking on another button to add this card to your deck. So at the end, I need to change this feature a bit. Luckily, my design architecture was easy, like flexible to change, but still, this will take some time because the specifications are not specified before the development. Okay, and this is not something to be angry with. This is normal life. I mean, there are two different planning strategies. One of them is called waterfall, where people are waiting each other's work to get into the work. But we did a more agile method. So I jumped into the development without waiting for the design, and this is why. Some changes are expected to be made. So this is normal. I mean, things like that will happen to you. You should be ready for that. And as a developer, you should be flexible to change your design. And as a good demonstration example, I am going to come back here, and this battle screen is a really detailed, demonstrative screenshot that I modified a bit to tell my ideas better and quicker. I mean, imagine without this screenshot, how will I tell my idea? Okay, I might say that there will be 3 cards on each side, and you will have 4 cards in your hands maximum. And near the nickname that is yours, you will have some life total, etc. But if you close your eyes and imagine what I'm saying, it will be really different from here. Like your development will be really different from here. And what can you do if you don't have the um, screenshots of another project, or if you don't have the concept art? I mean, you can find concept art, but if you don't have something concrete as this one, you should mock up your ideas. I don't remember the name Minet uses for mockup, creating mockups, but I will send you a good mockup link, and let me see if I can show you some mockups from Minet. This is, do you know what a mockup is? Mockup is basically a dummy image, dummy drawing of the screens that you want to create. So it's like a sketch. So these are the game loop. Okay, this is another important thing. Like after start of the game, I mean, this is for the prototype phase. Okay, so you start the game, you jump right into the deck building phase, and after that you click match me with another player, and then your turn starts. I mean, this is the battle loop. Your turn starts, you do some things. These are detailed explanations. After that, you click end my turn. Then enemy turn starts, and it goes until the end of enemy turn. Then it resets back to my turn until someone wins the game. And I'm trying to actually I'm trying to find the concept art. Okay, I couldn't find it. I will search later, but okay, I will send you some mockups later. But yeah, like I said, basically you need to demonstrate your ideas if possible. And you are not just saying what you want, but you are specifying how you want it. So as an example, suppose you are working on a motorcycle racing game. You state that the motorbikes must be balanced by their different advantages and disadvantages. You even provide a chart that shows how balanced they are. You know, there are charts of statistics in many games. And you can, like in your game, it will be possible to tweak your statistics. And if that is what you want, you need to also plan out how you will want to tweak with which process. Suppose main character in your game is Phantom of the Opera, whatever. Describe how the player's keyboard is like mapped, which buttons are where, you know. Specify how many channels of sound will be available. This is a music game, obviously. So talk it over with your programmer and work out every detail. Then document it. It's better to discuss with the developer before you write the documentation, if possible, because you know more about the developer. you can arrange, like my first question for the designer is, for instance, do we have a similar page already in our game? If so, I can talk to the developer of this page and I can see a time, I can get a time estimate, you know. And I can talk about the risks or threats that is laying in front of us. And like if you are the designer, then you can also do the same. If you have a similar page, you can talk with the developer of this page, get an idea, and then try to come up with a feasible design possible to create in a shorter amount of time. Okay, this is great point. You need to provide alternatives. I'm not sure if I have many alternatives in my game design, but if you haven't decided on a like on some notion of your game, you need it's better to state that that you are open to new ideas and new suggestions, so that everyone in your team can suggest, and after that you will basically create, like you are creating a brainstorming environment, you know, with your team, and after that you will have a easier time to document the resulting idea. And yeah, the warning here is asking developers, basically, can it be done? So there are optimistic programmers that say, sure thing, no problem. There are really pessimistic guys, nope, that can't be done. I mean, we have an existing code base that limits us, etc., etc. And the best programmer can answer like this. The best programmer basically gives you two different solutions and gives you the advantages of each solutions. But if you are unlucky, you won't get an answer like this. So be careful. I mean, this warning is a good warning. Sometimes you need to force your developers to do some things that they don't want to do, unfortunately. Okay. Give it a life. So tips for giving life. Make certain to engrave in stone those aspects that are so essential to the game concept that they must not be changed. Okay, this is an important thing. And make certain everybody understands the feel that the game is supposed to have and the purpose of each of its details. If information is repeated, it must be cross-referenced. Otherwise, if there are changes, you can end up with contradictory instructions. This is really important, and this is why it's better to use an online tool rather than Word or PDF. We will talk about those later. And here are some tips for the actual implementation stage. When the change is suggested, check back in your design document and see if it is concordance with the soul of your game. I mean, it's according, like there's no contradiction between the soul and the result. Check whether this is just an isolated change or it's a major global ecological impact. This means if your change is affecting more than one page, more than one character, etc., maybe you can save it for your next project. Like if you need to like break your game for one feature, then it might be better to leave this for the next version of your game, or perhaps even a new version. You need to also update the design documents. and include the reasons for the change. Or you need to explain the reasons why the suggestion was rejected from the development team or from the management team maybe. So I mean, you won't discuss it further for your next precious meetings. And changes, deletions, and rejected ideas should be retained in a master document to avoid discussing the same thing twice. Okay, this guy basically says the same thing. Everyone must be working from the same version. Past versions should be destroyed. I don't agree with this. Past versions should be archived. So they should not be destroyed, but they should be reachable, but they should be in a separate folder. So that's like it's no one will look at those on a daily basis. And this says the same thing. You need to define crucial, vital, and urgent features. Design documents must be maintained under one person's supervision only. Oh, okay. I don't agree with this point either. So this guy says one person should be managing the documents. I mean, if you are using something like a Word documents, then to avoid having multiple versions that you need to merge together later than the documentation. Okay, like then one person should manage the document. But if you are, I don't know, living in the 21st century, then multiple designers can modify different parts of the document, and the merging process is done automatically since you are using an online tool. Nobody should be able to say I did it that way because I couldn't find any reference to it in the documents. So you need to be clear and concise again, and you need to deliver it in good condition. This is mostly for your improvements. Actually, after you created the documents, try to see if I don't know, your friends are reading it. Try to see if your developers are reading it, or what parts they did not be able to understand, things like that. And after that, you can improve on your design document style. Okay. And some summary is movie makers use move scripts, architects use blueprints, musicians use a score. And we use design documents, basically. Design documents are also used in architecture, general software projects, or even when you are building an apartment. Even when you are building a ship, by the way. So this is a good habit to learn, I would say. Any questions so far? Okay, now like there's another short article why the game design documents is important, and I won't go much into the details, but you need to make your ideas concrete. It's a way for you to reference some features or aspects of your game when you are working with a team, and most often you will be working with a team. Game design document provides all team members with a deep understanding of game features. It also helps you how various ideas interact with each other. You might recognize two different ideas are there, and you can either combine them to get a better idea, or you might remove one of them if one of them is contradicting with the other. Okay, it keeps you focused. So basically, I talked about, like you answered, it helps us keep our focus, and this is right. Many game developers make two planning mistakes. Either they put too many features in the game, or they put too little. Both are equally problematic. I agree with this. I mean, as a game developer, I sometimes fall into this trap of designing more than my designer do. So because of that, like I said in my deck building example, I created a page with drag drop mechanic where I did not actually need this, and because of that, I had less sleep, etc. Okay, and I mean, it's one benefit is keeping everything in order, and you are finding easier time with communicating people from different disciplines, and it keeps everyone on the same page. With game design documents, you can outline the vision for the game, you can outline the essence of your game, and it's great for marketing, especially if you have an executive summary. Yeah. If you don't have any more any questions, or yeah, let me check the chats. You don't have anything. Okay. We will go further with the planning. We have discussed why do we need game design documents, what should be on design documents, and now we are on the project planning parts. So as like this is one of the first stages of a high design documents. I mean, it doesn't have to be in the first page or the second page, your project plan, but it should, I mean, you should write this down probably before anything else in your game, because if your plan is not feasible, then you need to obviously give up on your game idea. So I say there are two working strategies for planning, and two strategies that doesn't work when you're planning a software product, okay, or when you're planning an engineering product in general. So you can have fixed time, flexible products, or you can have fixed products, flexible time. Why do you think, I mean, what are the difference of those two strategies? Let me ask you. Go ahead, I talk too much this lecture. I don't like that. Any ideas? Come on. Okay, and we have two strategies that does not work. One of them is fixed time, fixed products. Do you mean, like, do you understand when I say fixed products? I mean, the feature set is not flexible. So you are, as a product manager, saying that you will do this, okay, and you cannot remove any of those features. So this is what a fixed product is. And fixed time is basically saying that we have 1 year to develop this game. We have budgets enough for 1 year, but after that we need to release the game, even if the product is not finished. So you can choose to limit the time, or you can choose the flexibility. Sorry, you can choose to limit the flexibility of your product. But unfortunately, if you try to do both of them, you will fail. So fixed time, fixed product strategy is not working, because then the development team is not, I mean, they are not having a space to maneuver, they are not able to modify the work plan if something goes bad. And also the flexible product approach is also not working. Why do you think this is the case? So, Ushik, what might be the case?
Can I have the question again?
Okay. Why do you think flexible time and flexible product strategy is not a good strategy to deliver a product?
The game might loses its original premise and change too much and become completely something else, and it might even be stuck in development for indefinitely.
Exactly. Yeah. So developers are not. I mean, developers like to learn a lot, so they don't hesitate to try out new things. Basically, when they don't have a specific deadline, and because of that, uh, they will take, like you said, infinite time to develop the game. And your product is also flexible, and your time is also flexible, so you cannot plan anything basically. I mean, if you try to graph out your plan, you need to either have a roadmap where you specify the timings of your plan, or the process, or in one axis you need to talk about your features. If your features are vague, and if your time is vague, then you can't have a plan basically. So these two strategies does not work. Okay, problem we face. Okay, I will talk about the problems of planning first, and later I will. I mean, probably not this lecture, but probably next lecture, I will talk about how we plan. Basically, it's like this lecture took me longer than I thought. But okay. So first of all, why it is hard to plan out a project? Why do you think this is the case? Like, have you ever sat in front of the computer and code, like try to code for a homework? Do you remember the times from your last semester? Maybe you had some C++ projects. Did you have something like that? You, as Eylül and Zeynep, have you?
Yeah, we had
Okay. How did it go? Like, how much time did you think it will take, and how much time it actually took?
1 week or something like that.
Okay. It took you 1 week?
Mhm.
And before you start, did you have a time estimation?
No, we have a deadline.
Okay, so you had a then you had a fixed time, and you had a flexible product. So it's good if your product meets all the requirements, but if it doesn't, then you will probably pass the class, but your grade will be lower, right? So this is something, and like the problem arises when your products, even the like prototype of your products, is not doable within 1 week. So if this is the case, then you need to plan out before you started the development. And if you think that uh, minimum valuable product will take around 1 week, sorry, will take around 2 weeks to produce, then you obviously need to sit 2 weeks before, at least 2 weeks before the deadline. But even if you come up with an estimate, more often than not, they don't work quite good. And there's a great article discussing that. I have a link to that article, but I also created some slides from that article. So problem is software projects rarely meet the deadline. And consequences are marketing efforts can be wasted, clients can be dissatisfied, stressed developers can write poor quality codes that is practically impossible to maintain. And they do this to save their position in the company. And they can compromise product reliability, product quality. And the worst thing that can happen is projects can get canceled because like they're out of budgets, or like people are so stressed out and like no one wants to work on this project, etc. And known causes for this are wrong time estimates, and this will be the focus of this lecture, rest of the lecture. Unclear requirements, but we can avoid this by writing a good documentation. You can get into too much attention, like you can stuck on the details that are outside the scope of this work. You can also do the opposite. So you can not take enough time in research, or you can also spend too much time on planning without creating a prototype. You can overlook some legal obligations with third-party integrations, especially if you are, creating a game for, I don't know, a specific platform, and if your game is not having those requirements that this platform requires, then you will have a problem, obviously. And developers often have the desire to get the work right the first time, so they don't have to change what they have created. And this might be causing analysis paralysis. So you get stuck on the analysis parts and you get nothing done. Working on too many projects at the same time, or getting distracted, breaking the flow too often. This is what I had in my previous job, and also this is what I had yesterday. In my previous job, like we had, I don't know, 9 developers, and we had more than 9 projects going on at the same time. Everyone was trying to holds from one corner of the same projects, and like tomorrow they are holding the corners of another project. Like they are developing different parts of different projects every day, and because of this, there's a problem with context switching between projects. So if you sit in front of a new project each day, first of all, you need to, I don't know, open up your developments environments, Unity or something like that, and you need to remember the rules of the existing code base, and you need to remember the style of this project, where is everything, etc. And after that, you need to find the class that you want to change, and then again you need to also think about the I don't know, screens, existing screens, and how they operate. And after that you can start the code. So if you switch codes too much, you won't get anything done. And another distraction is meetings, by the way, I would say. Yesterday, I wanted to ask a developer some question that I could not fix, but he wanted to join a workshop, online workshop in Mainnet. So he said that let's give a 1 hour break and join the workshop. It was a game design workshop, and it took almost 3 hours. So then I had to speed codes until the evening, because I had to fix some bugs in the prototype. So yeah, and this might be the problem. Or yeah, you can have an unbalanced quality throughput scale. This is as I understand, this means that you don't have a quality goal that everyone agrees on. And if you don't have a goal written in some documents that everyone understands and agree on, then of course this won't be fulfilled. Okay, like I said, the focus of this article is wrong time estimates by the developers. Sometimes people are having some over optimism. Maybe, sorry, this article is saying that over optimism is not the problem itself, because if you ask developers, they will be like, if I ask Eylül, how much time will it take you to create a page for me, or a game for me, you will obviously say something not optimistic but pessimistic, so that you don't so that you will definitely be able to reach the deadline, right? Yeah, but still, even your pessimistic deadline is generally optimistic, as I see. Like, us developers are like to show I don't know, show themselves as quick coders, so they can overestimate their abilities, and they can also underestimate the features that they are assigned to, and because of that they can be giving time estimates that are less than the needed time. So I can say that this feature will take me 1 week, but actually it's taking us, I don't know, 4 weeks or something like that. This is a common thing. So maybe over optimism is something of a root of this cause, but this article says it's not the case. So it's debatable. And after the break, we will, after a 10 minutes break, we will meet again, okay?